5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Deducter bringing you set 5 of Woonjin Star vs. MBCGameHero. MBCGameHero 1 game away from taking the set. This is a must-win game for Woonjin, and for Woonjin we have Woonjin playing as the yellow Terran at the 11 o'clock, and we have Sang playing as the red Protoss at the 1 o'clock position for MBC game. This is the map La Mancha, which is favored for Protoss over 60 games played, and the record is 57% for Protoss, so definitely some map advantage here for Protoss players against Terran. Both these players are rookies. They have less than 10 games under their belt here. I think Sang might even have less than 5. Regardless, very new players. So really, I have no idea what they're like, and whatever the... So usually with these new players, I don't try to look too much at their statistics. Among other things, it could spoil me for the games, but I just look first to see how many games they played. And if it's under like 10, I don't even care what their percentages are. As far as I'm concerned, you know, that's basically a clean slate here. And we have some Koreans standing. Are there not enough seats even for Pro League events? Usually I think there are definitely empty seats for Pro League series, especially something like MBC game versus Woonjin. It's not like one of those epic rivalries like KT versus STX or something like that. Anyway, maybe they just like standing, who knows. Or perhaps there really is a shortage of chairs. Hard to say. Regardless, it looks like neither playing doing anything crazy. No 14cc or 12 Nexus action coming from either of the rookies here. It does, and that guy is very tired or something. Maybe he's contemplating, he's pondering something, much like the brain used to do. Anyway, although who would be Pinky in this case? Simulator finished here for Sang, the new Protoss player, and I have to keep saying this over and over again because I actually might get confused as to who playing what. Again, I have no idea what these players are like, what their skill level is. Usually rookies, not always the best. They can be nervous and prone to making mistakes in televised matches. Unfortunately, most rookies do not work out. That is just a sad fact of reality, and I think the early games are pretty critical for a rookie. If they do okay, you know, at least get a few wins, maybe even like 4 wins out of 10 or something like that. I think it'll give them enough confidence that, you know, however good they may be in practice might actually shine through in subsequent games. Obviously, if they win more than that, that's actually rather astonishing. But sometimes rookies go, you know, getting defeated like 6 times in a row or something. That's just terrible stuff. And there's C, the winner of last game, looking pretty pleased with himself, as he should be. The contest between C and Light, C just slightly ahead, it seems, against Light. Light, I think, is best known for his versus Zerg. Again, it looks like a second gateway going down here for Sang. He's not looking to set up his expansion just yet. Command center already going down here for Woonjin. And a bunker rather, so he's going to be able to hold out against early Dragoon pressure. The danger with this 2 gateway build for the Terran is they're not really going to be able to push out. If they try to do anything with tanks, they're just going to get absolutely destroyed by the Dragoons coming out here for the Protoss player. So this is actually a pretty good build, even though you get your expansion later as the Protoss. Terran is basically stuck in their base for the next few minutes, assuming that Sang builds Dragoons from both his gateways. I mean, the only reason why you put down second gateways is to get some extra early Dragoons. There's no other possible explanation for this. You wouldn't use this, for instance, to build more Zealots. You wouldn't do it this early if you're going Dark Templar. Certainly wouldn't be doing this if it were Reavers. So the only possibility is he has to use this. Like, if you go for this, and you don't build early Dragoons, that's a mistake. Looks like 2 factories going down here for Woonjin. Hopefully these 2 players at least have enough multitasking and presence of mind on the map such that they don't just sit in their bases and macro for 15 minutes before attacking one another. It does look like there's 1 Dragoon out here for for Sang to put some early pressure on. Scouting SCV going to see 2 gateways, so Hosen is going to know what's going on, what Sang is doing. Sang, I think the Nexus is just about finished. He has Dragoon range frontage, obviously. Dragoons outranging the Marines in the bunker. He appears to only have the 2 Dragoons in the front for now. He also has 2 more in his base, picking off the scout. He, using his early map control, he might be trying to set up a 3rd base very quickly here with his probe at the 3 o'clock position. So good for him. I think this is a pretty good move. He knows there's no chance of Hosen pushing out again anytime soon. And by the way, if Sang wins here, he is going to win the set for his team, MBC. I'm a little surprised why Zero is not brought out. I guess this was before the MSL finals, so perhaps Zero is practicing hard against Terran. It is known that sometimes players will not play in Pro League just before finals for extra practice, and I think that's fine. Looks like these Dragoons pushing, trying to snipe away that tank. The tank backs up critically. Dragoons sniping away at that bunker. I don't think he's going to be able to get it done. Sang needs to retreat. Oh, actually he managed to kill the bunker. I was wrong about that. I managed to kill the bunker. And this is forcing Hosen back. He's managed to siege up his tank on top of the cliff, and I think at this point Sang's not going to be able to break through. Still, he's put on a lot of pressure. He might even be able to take this barracks down. I mean, Hosen does not want to lose this barracks, even take the barracks. That'll be a nice little advantage. He only lost 1 Dragoon for that attack. No, the barracks is going to get repaired in time. I think that was a worthwhile trade. Certainly going to give Hosen some pause here, putting on this sort of early pressure. The 3rd Nexus finished now for Sang. He's going to be able to get some probes there to start mining soon. Vulture is pressing out a bit here for Hosen. He looks like he feels the need to get some scouting information, or perhaps to do some harassment and try to take some of the initiative back. Good for him. Sang, I think, will have Dragoons in position to defend. He has a pylon blockade set up there, so he's not going to be able to get in to 3 o'clock that way, and I think Sang will have Dragoons positioned in the other entrance to blockade that off. He also has Dragoons positioned outside of his Natro. He's not going to be too bothered by any sort of harassment attempts from these 2 Vultures, so good for him. Putting on the pressure, and now pulling back to consolidate for a while. Again, Hosen stuck in his base. At least he didn't lose that first tank, because if he lost that tank, then Sang would have run amok all over his natural and killed off all sorts of SCVs, and things would be looking pretty dire. As it stands, I would argue the 2 players are fairly even, maybe Sang with a bit of a lead in terms of economy at this point. He's certainly got an impressive force of Dragoons here, and before Hosen can really bring to bear a good number of tanks, these Dragoons will dominate the battlefield. Hosen has put down another command center that he'll probably lift over to the, well, I guess it would be 11:30 o'clock-ish position, and try to get that base. So let's see how he decides to do this. There is an observer coming out here for Sang, so he's not going to be too bothered by mines. Hopefully he has the presence of mind to keep observers with his Dragoons. Now, a good number of tanks out for Hosen. So without the Shuttle and the Zealot bombs, Sang's not going to be able to push ahead. There are 2 turrets getting built there. I'm not so sure whether attack here would be that successful. I'm not quite sure. He's certainly going to lose the Shuttle if he persists with this. Maybe Sang would be better off either trying to stop the expansion from going up, or a fleet beacon and stargates going down. Geez, carriers are really making a comeback these days. I've seen quite a few carrier games now. That's interesting to note. Wow, that's just going to make people use the double armory build again. I haven't really seen any sort of innovation from carriers, but here we have a Zealot bomb coming out, saying backing up his Shadow in the face of that one turret. He knows he's not going to be able to get it done. The lone sellout dropping, not really doing anything there. 3-star gates, 3-star gates, yeah, 3-star gates here for Sang. He's going to get carriers from all of them, it looks like. He's upgrading something at his cybernetics core, probably Air 1. I think he needs to get a second core and upgrade armor. Armor is very important too for carriers. It increases the longevity significantly. So, of the carriers against Goliaths, I feel. Even helps a bit with the interceptors, although Goliaths, I really don't think it matters too much how much armor upgrade on the interceptors. Goliaths can kill them very, very quickly, regardless. They have 80 total health, I believe, 40 shields and 40 HP. That's just 4 hits from a Goliath unupgraded to kill. So, you know, but carrier itself, you know, if you're not careful, and people do mistakes with carrier micro, it may be the difference between losing like 2 or 3 carriers versus losing just the 1 carrier, and that is a big difference there. So it looks like Sang might be trying to set up another base here at the 5 o'clock, but it's getting denied by those 2 vultures parked in front. And furthermore, with the pylon blockade, he's going to need to use the Shadow to lifting some dragoons to clear that out, which might be exactly what he's doing now. So Sang's certainly going to get delayed. He needs to get another expansion soon. 4 bases is great for carriers, but 3 base on 3 base here, the Protoss is at somewhat of an economic disadvantage. So Sang needs to work fast here. So far he's shown that he's actually reasonably good. I would say he's at least a competent Protoss player, hasn't done anything extraordinarily stupid. On the other hand, Hosen loves clumping his tanks. That is Arbiter bait right there, or Storm bait really. I mean, 2 Storms, it'd kill like 7 or 8 tanks right there. Maybe not 7 to 8, 5 to 6. Regardless, a lot of tanks would die to that. So I think it would be wise to get either like 1 or 2 Arbiters or a Shadow 4 of Templar. I think Shadow 4 Templar is probably a better way to go. They're cheaper than Arbiters. 1 Arbiter can buy 2 Templar and then a bit extra. And you know, whereas 2 Templar can deliver like 4 Storms, absolutely devastating if you play correctly. I apologize about that. Okay, it looks like here we have Sang trying to defend here against a push coming out for Hosen. He's not going to be able to do it, not with the few forces he has. He also doesn't have speed. These Dragoons suiciding against tanks. Ooh, not very good. Sang at least choosing him back off. He suffers some losses. He will have carriers out to supplement his army very soon, but there are a significant number of Goliaths out already for Hosen. Sang needs speed upgrade, or he needs some sort of spellcaster or something. I don't think these carriers in conjunction with Goliaths are going to get it done. He might be buying time, waiting until he has 6 carriers, but I don't think he's going to be able to delay long enough. Hosen showing excellent judgment here. He's pushing out. Good push here. He's pushing out as fast as Terran can reasonably push, you know, lining up and using his tanks. He probably could stand to push a little bit faster. He's trying to sneak some vultures in the back of Sang's base, not being the best microer there. 5 carriers now out for Sang. He needs to build a few more interceptors on those new carriers, it seems. He's going to use these carriers to pick off a few tanks, and with that he's going to be able to stop a push coming in here by Hosen. Hosen does not have enough Goliath to deal with this. Vulture getting killed by probes. This is the difference between a rookie and a top level pro gamer. That Vulture would not get killed by probes like that. Sang doing quite well this game, I have to say. Fairly impressive. Hosen not exactly playing badly either. Pretty good series between these 2 players. I think Hosen is going to be forced to withdraw here. He managed to pick off the Shadow of Zealot Bombs, but all his damn tanks looks like are getting killed, and he is forced to withdraw his forces. Now, Hosen is in full retreat, and Sang has the advantage. He has a impressive looking ground army still. He's got 5 carriers, critically, and Hosen does not seem like he has enough Goliaths. Sang needs to be a bit more careful with his ground forces like that. You don't want to ever suicide 3 Dragoons like that. Dragoons are going to be important and necessary. It looks like